Hi, everybody. Welcome to our session on why your CV is not working and what New Zealand employers are actually looking for in a CV, because the CVs are quite different here on the way they want them structured compared to the rest of the world. Just a short introduction. I'm Peter Lemmer. I'm a South African by origin, moved here in 2016. And yeah, it's what now, 10 years in New Zealand. I should change the slide. My qualifications, I'm an engineer by background and a commercial qualification. And I've worked in manufacturing from grassroots level. I started in the coal mining industry at the coal face, working there as a technician and artisan. And then I moved across to manufacturing, where I became manufacturing director and managing director of large manufacturing businesses. And so I have experience at all different levels. And why do I do it? I have a passion for helping people. I like seeing other people succeed. So let's get to the topic. What is the problem? The problem is that in New Zealand, generic CVs create a lot of confusion. You're just one of the other 20 million in the pile. And today we're focusing on something that's important, which is your CV itself. If you're networking, connecting, your CV is still a very big part of the whole process. You also have to, according to my PIAT principle, which I use the whole time, is you've got to be professional. And professional means that your CV must say the same as what your LinkedIn profile says, as what you talk about in the interview. And for many migrants, the CV that they're putting forward is not aligned to what New Zealand employers sort of expect. Your CV isn't failing because you're not a good person, a good worker. It's failing because it's too generic. And I think this is what we can blame sort of AI these days. I know everybody uses AI, but AI creates 10 million of the same CVs. It's not there. You have to know exactly what to prompt it and what to tell it to start getting your specific value add across in your specific details and your specific experience. And yeah, generic CVs are too long, and we'll get to that now. What do employers want here in New Zealand? Firstly, they want clarity, and they want relevance, and they want value. What is your value add that you're giving? And many people use one CV for every role. They just keep sending the same CV out, listing sort of long lists of responsibilities, and just hoping that something will stand out. New Zealand employers don't want to figure out where you fit. And you have, and this is known internationally, and by recruiters have told me themselves, you've got 5 to 7 seconds to impress me. Otherwise, I just toss it into the bin. I go to the next one. And those 5 to 7 seconds are the most important part. And New Zealand employers, recruiters aren't looking for long, detailed descriptions. They want clarity, relevance, and value. So let's go through this now. There's simple and complex CVs. So they want to quickly understand, who are you, what do you do, and what value do you bring, and what value will you bring to the business. And different styles across the world. So I know Europe has, you have to have everything squashed into 2 pages with a photo. Other countries like long descriptive CVs, every little duty you've done and everything. Long paragraphs. In New Zealand, a lot of these elements work against you. New Zealand, maximum 3 to 4 pages. They prefer to have it sort of 3 pages long and get to the core elements of what you are, what your skills are, and how you can assist the company. And also no photos. Interesting photos are a no-no. You aren't even allowed to say Mr. or Mrs. at the top. It's got to be just your name, because here in New Zealand it's very politically correct. You mustn't be able to judge somebody by their race, their color of hair, the way they look, in a photo kind of thing. So all these things are stripped out, and it's a very simple banner at the top. Name, without any Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or whatever. Your email address, your telephone number, and where you live effectively. And then your LinkedIn, a link to your LinkedIn profile, which is very important. To design your CV correctly, you've also got to consider that some big portals like Seek, they have this ATS tracking system which sorts your CV out and looks at your eligibility and puts you into file 13, sort of the rubbish bin or not suitable, just based on the way that it reads the CV, because this is AI reading your CV, and AI doesn't like photos, firstly, doesn't like, secondly, your tables, formats, those type of things, doesn't like columns, it doesn't like massive, blocked out. You see on the right there, there's that black section with writing on top of it. It cannot read that. And you've also got to be able to bring across your value add quickly. New Zealand people want to see, what are you going to do differently in my business? What value are you bringing? Not how fantastic you are, but how have you shown that, how can you show me that you can prove to me that you are fantastic and have been fantastic? And you've got to show impact and not just the tasks. So here's an example I've drawn up for you. Instead of saying responsible for customer service, start off with a statement saying, I have improved. I always use an action word and say improved customer satisfaction by 10%. But then also you just got to say yes, what is the measurable act that you have done, target that you met or exceeded, but then tell how you did it. By resolving queries efficiently and maintaining positive client relationships. This shift helps employees not just to see what you did, but how well you did it. And that's the important part, is how well you did it. Another very important part of CVs is your structure itself. It must be clean, clear, and easy to scan. It must be a clear, simple format, and it normally follows in New Zealand style a short professional summary. And I think that is the most important part of your CV, is that professional summary at the top. And I call it the 30-second elevator pitch, or not even 30. You've got a 6-second elevator pitch. You've got a 30. Then you've got to go and identify your key skills that match the role. And then what work experience is listed clearly with your achievements. And in that, you've got to list your achievements, saying how you've improved things, and use percentages, dollar value, savings, percentage improvement, percentage reduction, and education or certifications. And below each job that you did, sort of company you worked for, list the achievements within that company. When your CV is structured properly, it becomes much easier for employers to connect your experience to the role that they're trying to fill. So they want to see how you're going to match the job that I've listed. As I said earlier, the 6-second rule. Make it easy for them to understand you and fast. It's important to remember that often, employers often spend only a few seconds scanning your CV. And they decide in those 6 seconds, are they going to read further or not? If you start rambling on, which AI does, AI strings a lot of big words together. Sounds fantastic, but if you actually sit back and look at that, and you read it and you say, what did this person actually do? It says nothing. And you've got to get to take away these unclear, long, big word sentences and tailor it to what the words they are looking for. And they must be easy for them to understand. And I've got a 5 or 6-point rule where I draw up your personal summary section with a 6-point rule that I use that gives all the information within a short time period to them. So what is the key takeaway of today's session? I think you've got to get your value add across clearly to an employer in New Zealand. Sometimes your CV, if it's not getting the attention it deserves, it's not that you aren't the right person. It's the way that you're structuring your CV. It's the way your strategy is. Your CV is not communicating your value across to the New Zealanders the way they want to see it. And the moment you start shifting it, and I think personalizing your CV as well, people using AI these days create too generic CVs. When you start personalizing it and going to your achievements you've done, and you go from a very complex, long-worded CV to a focused, keyword-orientated CV, I think you're going to start seeing a difference in your results, and quite quickly as well. Thanks for joining our workshop. We're going to open it up for questions after this, and you can go and see us on YouTube. Go on to at COAR Consultants on my YouTube channel. There's a lot of video and information there. Our previous workshops are on there. You can also book a free 20-minute consultation with me just to understand what services I do in CV writing, networking, and interview coaching. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And thanks for joining again.